There's so much that I want you to know today. There's so much that I want to say to a specific collective that I'm picking up on that's having a bit of a hard time right now. Now, the thing about this energy that I'm getting is it's very nuanced and layered. It's not all one thing. When I say that you're having a hard time, I feel as though there is this kind of like raw energy, almost like a pressure or a tension that you're dealing with in your life energetically right now. And what I'm getting is that it's almost like in the midst of this, what I can best describe as like a raw pressure or a raw energy, many things are happening. Some of these things are feeling very ungrounding and very chaotic. I am picking up on a very specific collective that has been having trouble sleeping as much lately, or it's almost like you've just been feeling really wired, like being really energized or kind of amped up, but not really being able to come down from it fully, and maybe not really knowing why. It's like that raw kind of buzzing tension or energy that I'm talking about here. But when I even use the word tension, I'm not really referring to something inherently necessary or negative, but it's interesting that word necessary came out. Maybe there's something necessary about this tension because that definitely feels like a channeled word that came through there. But I feel as though it's not necessarily that it's negative, it's that it's revealing is what I'm hearing. And what I'm getting very strongly is that this raw tension is bringing a lot to the surface, both within you. I'm feeling a lot of clarity coming through for you, but I'm also picking up that there is a lot being revealed about people around you. And I'm hearing it's happening all at once. So for the collective I'm speaking to here, there's almost this sense as though so much is happening all at the same time. Most of this is occurring like emotionally or energetically. And I feel there's a reason for this. What I said to someone in my life earlier today is that this energy I'm picking up on, it almost feels like the actual literal embodiment of Moldavite. Now, many of you are familiar with Moldavite. It's a kind of crystal or a stone. And it was trending several years ago on social media because people were saying that they would purchase this stone and suddenly their life would just start seemingly falling apart or going into chaos. And yet the most powerful, amazing things would start happening in their life as well. And the sense I'm getting is that this is kind of what's happening through this pressure in your life right now. There is this really rapid realignment taking place. And I'm hearing very strongly that those who aren't capable of going with you right now into this new version of you are starting to feel boxed out of your energy and out of your life in a real way. Now, it's interesting because from a physical perspective, you may feel as though some of these individuals are actually blocking you out, like disconnecting from you, not communicating with you, blocking you out, but really they are not able to access you because energetically you've ascended to a higher level that they are not willing at this moment to follow you into. But I am hearing admire at a distance. So I even feel for many of these people who tend to not be able to follow you into that new phase, they have this habit of like still admiring you at a distance, if that makes sense. So the word that keeps coming up is revealing, that this time of raw pressure is revealing a lot. And again, this is happening internally and externally. Internally, the word I keep getting is clarity. I feel that for you, things are becoming very clear. There may be situations that felt very muddy or very foggy for a while, connections or situations through which maybe you were giving away some of your sovereignty, some of your power, or draining some of your energy without really realizing it. Or I'm hearing even being manipulated. There may be situations where you were being manipulated in some way, or pressured, I should say, pressured onto someone else's timeline or agenda, and maybe you didn't even fully consciously recognize that until now. That's a lot of what seems to be coming up here. For others of you, this clarity could be suddenly realizing something about who you are, or what you want in life or in love, or what you want your life to look like, having realizations that feel like breakthroughs. And I'm hearing the thing about these points of clarity internally is once they are cognizant, they can't be ignored. And that's a major point that comes through here. And also that kind of adds to the chaos, because once something is revealed, it can't be ignored. I'm getting that goes for what's being revealed externally as well. So when someone externally is revealed for their true nature, for their true colors, and by the way, I'm getting something about this energy is like forcing revelations. It's like forcing people to show their hand, to show their heart, so to speak, to reveal themselves. It's forcing out their true colors, their unhealed aspects. And again, that's getting brought up to the surface within you as well. I'm getting there may be some very, very deep wounds surfacing for you to be released. But when it comes to these individuals around you, I'm just getting this sense of triggering, like you are triggering the collapse of inauthentic timelines that other people may be trying to exist on. And instead of reacting to the collapse itself or shifting themselves to a better timeline, they're projecting something onto you, because subconsciously they recognize that you are the one initiating the collapse of inauthentic timelines. And you know how you're doing that. It's through your authenticity, because you radiate an energy that's so powerful and so magnetic and so deeply true to yourself, so pure and authentic, that when you encounter someone who is trying to live on an inauthentic timeline, meaning they are trying to be at a job or in a lifestyle or in a place or in a relationship that they know deep down isn't really them following their heart, is them betraying themselves in some way. I'm getting at this time, it's like just being around you, just seeing you, just connecting with you automatically surfaces the realization within others that they are living on an inauthentic timeline for themselves. And this realization can be extremely uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's so complex, because this is also so much of the reason that so many people are manifesting you into their lives at this exact moment, because there's a part of them that's ready to let go of those inauthentic timelines. So on a higher self level, they manifest in this touch point with you, this interaction with you, even just seeing you out in a crowd or viewing or absorbing something that you might be creating or sharing online, whatever the case is. They manifest these moments with you because on a higher self level, they're ready to let go of that old timeline, but their conscious human self isn't always fully connected with that higher self knowing. And that's where a lot of the complications come into play. I'm also picking up that this is a bit of a side message, but if you are someone who is a creative and you've been either currently creating and sharing something online with the world, whether it's your art, your music, a business, whatever it is, or if you've been contemplating doing that, you need to know that there is an angle to this that you haven't necessarily considered before, which is that it's not just you getting the inspired idea to share yourself, to share your energy, to share your art. This is also you feeling the fact that there is an entire collective, a global collective of people who are ready to let go of some kind of a past timeline or version of themselves, who are calling forth that art or that creation from you, because on a higher self level, they recognize that being able to interact with or observe or absorb whatever you're creating will help them to shift. I'm hearing what you're creating is actually a collective manifestation that's being manifested through you. And that's why it's a calling. That's why we refer to it as a calling, because there are so many people that are calling the creation of this through you. And yes, I see that in doing this, you're going to manifest a lot of success, a lot of abundance, however you personally define those things in your own life. But at the same time, you're also manifesting for the collective, because there is a whole collective of people who on such a deep soul level desire to experience whatever you are feeling inspired to create. That's coming through really, really strongly here. Again, I know that's a bit of a side message, but I feel it's related because something about this raw tension is also inherently very creative. It's part of why you guys have noticed that a few weeks ago, I was putting out tons and tons of videos. I was really tapping into that vein of energy that we're talking about here. And yes, I've personally needed to take pauses because that energy is very intense. But I'm using that as an example because I feel that many of you are sensing that yourselves, where you're feeling that you're tapping into something very powerful, almost like pure electricity, very powerful, concentrated, intense, and yet at times also overwhelming and ungrounding, which of course, in those moments, it's so important to take those breaks I'm hearing to refresh your nervous system, to really allow yourself to come down from that energy as best you can, even though I know it might be difficult because there's almost like this buzzing in the air right now for the group I'm speaking to here. Like, again, it's like this feeling of being really amped up energetically and vibrationally. So I'm also picking up, it could have something to do with the Schumann resonance or the frequency of the earth. Now, that's just something I received as a download, but I personally don't follow that too closely in a conscious way. So do let me know in the comments if you know anything about the earth resonance, the Schumann resonance, any frequencies that may be at play here in regards to that as well. But another message that was coming through is that you may be feeling a lot of raw emotion coming to the surface right now. And something I'm picking up very strongly is that there can kind of be this tension internally when it comes to, do I let myself be raw, soft, open, vulnerable, heart expressive? And the chills are coming through so strongly as I'm saying all of that. I guess that might be a resounding yes, like that is how you are meant to be allowing yourself to be. But it's almost this tension between, do I do that? Or do I put up walls? Do I pull back? Do I distance myself? Do I go cold because this emotion is overwhelming, or because I'm afraid of how other people are going to receive the emotion that's coming through me? And I'm hearing every time you choose yes, like you choose your heart, you choose to keep yourself open and vulnerable and soft, I'm hearing without fearing rejection or fearing reaction, or really even paying any mind to how other people are reacting to that. Whenever you do that, you become more powerful when it comes to everything you're creating and manifesting in your life. And you also open doorways where people who are able to connect with you in that frequency can find you and can reach you. Now, of course, the complicated element here is there are people who at times can meet you there, because I'm getting there's kind of an irresistibility about you when you're in that space, especially when you're visible to someone or in their presence. You might notice like this softening of their eyes, or like they keep looking at you, or there's something about the in-person connection. But when they go away physically, or there's a separation, there may be times where, because of what you've brought up within them, they may try to convince themselves that it was just in their head, or they're just being delusional, or that they should choose what's logical or stable or whatever. And in those moments, you could almost feel this like micro rejection coming from that person's energy in their absence. And you may wonder, did I make a mistake in being so soft in their presence? But I feel this is such a core part of your purpose here on earth. I'm hearing, can you stay soft in a cold world? Can you stay open when everything in the world is trying to get you to close? Can you keep allowing yourself to be this open channel for creative energy and to share that in a pure, authentic way, even when that energy that you're sharing is going to be so concentrated and so powerful that it's naturally going to be polarizing. It's naturally going to pull forth a lot of different varied reactions from people because you're doing, I'm hearing, what all the greatest artists have ever done, which is you are, through your creations, holding up a mirror to others and allowing them to see themselves. And you're doing that because you're creating in this vulnerable, heart open, honest way. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards here, but I really hope if that message was for you that you received it, because that felt like a really powerful activation for someone. Now, let's get very specific because there's so much to talk about here. I have a feeling we're going to do many more reading videos like this in the near future, but there's someone specific coming up here. And this won't be for everyone. If all of this reading so far has been for you, still use your discernment because I'm going to get very specific and there's also going to be a pivot here, but there is a group that needs to hear this message. So there's a specific person who is very fixated on you, very mesmerized by you, but they don't want to be on some level. And let me explain. And of course, I flip over the deck, and what card do we have on the bottom of the deck but the heart chakra? So this person's heart is very open to you, or rather, I should say, I feel like you touched something in their heart. And what I'm seeing are these huge walls around someone's heart chakra. And I'm hearing somehow you slipped through the cracks. So I feel like I'm hearing Trojan horse, which it's reminding me of like, it feels almost like I'm hearing you accidentally touched something within this person's heart that was behind their heart walls that they usually have up. And when I say accidentally, I'm hearing they let it in because they thought it was something else. Not that they really feel tricked, but it's like something. Maybe they told themselves like, oh, this is just a coworker or a business collaboration or a friend, or it's like they categorized this connection in some way that allowed them to almost disguise it to themselves. But I'm actually getting all of this was a divine orchestration because this meeting was meant to happen, and maybe we'll be able to get into why it was meant to happen. But what I'm picking up very strongly is they would have not let you into their heart in this way had they known, well, I just have to be blunt, had they known that they were going to fall in love with you, because I know this message won't be for everyone, but for the group I'm speaking to, this does feel romantic in nature, even though it's like they're so slow to say that in the energy because they're resistant to it. They don't want it to be that. And hopefully we can get into some details as to why. But I feel like mentally they were very closed off to the idea of this being romantic, but somehow it was disguised as something else and it entered their heart and got beyond those walls before they even really knew what was happening. Now it's almost like this person is feeling very triggered, and I feel like you're receiving some of that energy as like coldness or rejection. But I'm hearing now it's like you're already in their heart, right? There's no going back. I feel like I'm hearing they've felt something that can't be undone here. You've made them feel something behind those heart walls that they usually have up, behind those defenses that can't be unfelt. And it's almost like they're trying to reinforce those walls. And maybe I'm hearing they even like pushed you out of their life or tried to push you out of their energy. But it doesn't really matter because I'm seeing like a footprint. It's almost like you're gone, but your footprints are still there. The impression is still there. And it feels like it's made in cement. Like I'm hearing it's forever changed them, which for some of you might seem very strange because I'm getting that for some of you listening, this connection may actually be seemingly small on the surface or in the 3D. I'm hearing it never crossed lines, but it touched their heart. Like maybe no lines were literally crossed in the physical or nothing was ever really said or spoken, but it still touched their heart regardless. I'm hearing it crossed every line with them mentally and emotionally without crossing a single line in the physical. is what I'm getting here around this connection. And I almost feel like because they're so resistant to how truly they're feeling this love for you, it's almost like they're reacting against you. And I almost feel this like frustration or this anger, not that they're angry at you. It's like they're angry at themselves for falling in love with you because they hadn't been planning to, they didn't want to. And I almost feel like this is someone who may have done something in reaction to that self-frustration or self-anger. Like they may have really like reinforced a boundary with you, pushed you away, disconnected from you. I'm hearing for some of you, if they are in another romantic relationship or connection, they may have really thrown themselves to that person or to that situation. They may be like, for example, posting them online a lot more if you're connected on social media, or speaking about this person a lot more, or like just trying to convince everyone around them, including themselves, by the way, that they are just all in for this person. And that will only be for a specific group of you. But what I'm getting is this is someone trying to convince themselves out of what it's too late to convince themselves out of, because what's happened here is an emotional impression was left, an energetic impression was left. And emotional energy is so much more powerful than thought energy. So what's happened here is you've left that impression on them emotionally. I don't know why, but I feel like someone here may have just simply needed that message that like, yes, whatever you did here left an impression and they felt it deeply. And this is not going to be able to be undone, because I feel like for some of you, you may be feeling a little bit abandoned or a little bit hurt or rejected by this person at this point. And you may be wondering, did any of this matter? Was this all in my head? Were they feeling it too? And the message I'm getting most strongly is they're only pushing you away so hard because they felt it. And because I'm hearing as soon as they realized what it was, they ran away from it. It feels like the second it clicked into place and this person undeniably realized, for some reason I'm seeing someone like speaking or singing. So I don't know if you're a singer and they saw you singing and this clicked into place, or they saw you talking, or I don't know, like maybe they're a musician, but I feel like somehow music or speaking or singing was involved. But I feel like there was a moment where undeniably they were in love with you and they realized this consciously. And the moment that thought landed in their brain, they immediately panicked. It's like the moment they realized they loved you, they ran away. That's what I'm getting the most strongly here. And that's actually why they pushed back against this so hard, because I'm hearing this is someone who finds this love they're feeling for you to be deeper than anything they've ever felt, and also to be really irresistible. So what's happening here is anytime this person gets around you, anytime they get around your energy, it's like I'm hearing they can't help themselves. They always feel like even if they don't cross any lines, they always feel like they somehow say or do too much. I'm seeing someone like on kind of like like a landslide or a mudslide or something. Maybe the song Landslide is significant to someone, but I feel like it's like they take one step into your energy and fall all the way in every single time, especially when they're around you physically. I'm seeing books, so maybe books are significant to someone. I know I keep saying we're going to be pulling cards, so I am now going to be pulling an energy oracle card. So I'm seeing something about like whales or dolphins, some kind of sea animal here. So I want to know how this person is feeling towards you. I'm hearing you make them feel free. You know what's crazy? I pulled the financial constraints card reversed and it kind of came out in a weird way. So I thought, I'm going to reshuffle, and I pulled the exact same card again. So the guides are clearly indicating that this card is really important. Now, this card may or may not have to do specifically with finances. For some of them, if they are involved with another person, there may be a financial element where they want to walk away or disconnect, or a part of them does, but it's almost like their mind won't let them go there because there is so much at stake logistically. And maybe there are shared finances, a shared life together, some kind of shared stability together. And yet what I'm also getting with this card, again, regardless of that situation or whether that applies, it's that being around you makes them feel so free. It makes them feel unlimited. I'm hearing that they're really picking up on this highly abundant energy that's around you. And yet it's very chaotic for them with the storm warning card. And I feel like you're experiencing some of the fallout of this chaos. Like you've experienced that as some kind of coldness or some kind of rejection from this person. Maybe that's why the message came out earlier, to keep your heart soft and open. Because I feel that it's tempting when it comes to this person. It's like to react against how they're reacting to you. But I feel that like when you do that, you can feel it compromising your own energy, like taking you out of that flow state, that beautiful, vulnerable, heart open place. I'm hearing, don't keep your heart open for this person. Keep it open for you. Because when you have your heart open, that's when you are attracting the highest forms of love and support into your life. That's when you're the most creative. That's when you're able to naturally access the flow state, which is that super powerful state of being where we're able to create so effortlessly. And the things that we create from the flow state take on this immense kind of power. And I'm just hearing like, don't compromise your softness or your love, that heart openness within you, because this person is reacting against what you've brought up within them that terrifies them, which really is that love that they're feeling for you. I feel like this is someone who's deeply, deeply conflicted. The word conflicted is coming through very strong here. And I'm hearing they don't know what to do with these feelings they're having for you. They know they can't contain them. So they're trying to do everything they can to discard them. You know, it's almost like if this was just a little crush or a little like passing feeling or slight admiration of you, you know what this person would do? I keep seeing the light slightly flicker. I feel like that's your energy coming through this reading. So if this was just something very light, if it was a crush that they just kind of admire you, I feel they would like kind of just live with that or live around it. Like they would keep those feelings under wraps, but not really react against them. They would maybe even treat it in kind of a light, flirty, and playful way. And I feel like that's what they've done many times in the past. And at first, maybe that's what they thought this was. Maybe that's the Trojan horse we've been describing, like the disguise. They thought that this was, I'm hearing, like all the others. But once it reached their heart, they realized that it was making a deeper impression. Once it reached their heart, they realized it was a love deeper than they'd ever felt. And I keep wanting to tear up. And what that tells me is this may actually be someone who has felt actual like tears, or like I see them literally tearing up thinking about you. I'm hearing, how can I fear losing someone that I've never even really fully had? And I get that that feeling is very mutual. Like lines were never crossed. You never really fully had one another. And yet there is this mutual fear of losing it. I'm seeing a microphone for some reason. Maybe this is the universe telling this person, like, speak up, like, share your feelings. I'm just seeing this like empty stage and a microphone. Again, maybe someone's a singer here or a public speaker, but I want to know more about how this person is feeling towards you. I'm hearing if they weren't so in love with you, if they weren't feeling so emotionally conflicted and chaotic because of that love they're feeling for you, this person actually would be closer to you. That's kind of the ironic thing here. Now, whoa, we do have a card flying out, and it is the throat chakra. At first, this was in the reverse position, but then it flew onto the floor, and when I picked it up, it was upright. What this tells me is this is someone heavily thinking about communicating with you, and you are most likely feeling this energy. I'm getting this may even be showing up in your body as a kind of pressure, tension, or even anxiety. So you might be feeling anxious because you're actually feeling, and for some reason, it's like an urgent need to communicate with you. This person feels like time is running out. Maybe there is some window of time where like they feel like they're losing you. They feel like you're slipping away. And they feel like there's this window of time to communicate with you. And they're getting that sense of urgency, but also feeling deeply conflicted. But here we have the Temple Path card at the bottom of the deck. So I feel that I'm hearing them walking their highest path or their true path automatically leads to them communicating with you or sharing some kind of truth with you. But it's like they're deeply conflicted. They're in this chaos state of, I'm hearing consequences. Like they know that if they do communicate with you, there's going to be consequences. Specifically with caring connections reversed, they may lose something else in their life that, again, they have some kind of material bond with, or that logically makes sense in their life. You know, one image that I kept getting is the ring is in their pocket, but they couldn't do it. I don't know why, like those words kept coming out, almost like lyrics to a song. And so I know this is so hyper specific, but for some of you, I feel like they may be in a romantic connection where the person that they're with is pressuring them for something more, for like a higher level of commitment. Maybe they're dating and they want marriage, or they're talking romantically and they want a relationship, or maybe they're married and they want kids. Like, I feel like if they're with someone romantically, that person is pressuring them for more. And prior to meeting you, they considered giving that person what they wanted. But now that they've met you, it's almost like they're so frustrated because they know they can't go back, or in other words, they can't go forward with this person in the same good faith. It's like you confirmed everything they suspected, meaning they suspected that there was love that could feel deeper than what they're feeling with this person. They suspected that this was out there for them, but they weren't ready to have it so clearly and immediately and undeniably confirmed to them. And now it's almost like they're trying to mentally push themselves back into the box of this old life or this old relationship or connection and move forward with it. But they're frustrated by the feeling that it's like Pandora's box has been opened. They know things now that they didn't know before because of you. Now, I know a lot of this reading has been so specific, so only take it if it's been connecting for you, but I am going to close things out here. If you do want to stay tuned, then I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. But otherwise, I hope you have an amazing remainder of your day. Take care. I know the energy is very intense right now, but I'm sending you all huge amounts of love. I hope that you can find some kind of love, support, or confirmation from this channel, and thank you for being part of it with me. I will connect with you here again in the next video.